In this video, I'm playing Backgammon versus the Bot with my good friend James MacNaughtan. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. My book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it if you're interested in lessons. Please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. Again, in this video, it's my pleasure to have my good friend James MacNaughtan. Thank you for joining me and welcome.
Hi, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me on your channel again. Great
My
to be
pleasure.
here.
Yeah, my pleasure. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. It's a bit later here than it is where you are,
Yeah,
so it's good. I'm not
good.
normally a late night player, but I'll try not to embarrass myself on camera.
Great. Thank you for accommodating me at this hour. I appreciate that. We were talking about the stream champs that we've been doing. How's that going so far?
It's going pretty well. We're on round two. Nick Blasier is crushing it. He's a very strong player, but I'm really interested to see two of our Grandmasters playing. We got I think this round we're gonna have Dirk Schiemann against Naoki Iketani, who
Okay.
if you don't know is a Japanese Grandmaster who also streams as a cat. So I highly recommend watching that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that match.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. It's interesting to see how the different people stream the different matches.
Oh, for sure. Everyone's got a completely different style. You get like some who are like very educational, like Nick Blasier. You listen to him, it's like listening to a great teacher. I try and be maybe a bit more kind of entertaining. I'm not much of a teacher myself, but I do try and entertain. And then you get Rainer, who's very technical, very mathematical. You get John Georgiou, who's very intuitive and instinctive. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And when you get to see the same match from both perspectives, it's a real pleasure.
I've had a lot of them on my channel join me. It's fun. As a matter of fact, I think I had John Giorgio about 5 or 6 times, and I did a day where I released like 4 or 5 of his videos, and that was fantastic. Um,
He's a wonderful guy. So
yes, yes, yes. Everyone is actually outstanding. I think that videos will really help promote and grow backgammon, and I think everyone working together is fantastic. So thank you and congratulations.
thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and share this. Okay, are you able to see that now?
Okay, what beautiful colors you set this board to.
Yes, thank you. We selected these colors because these are the colors that you use in your videos, right?
Yes, these are the colors of my club, Paris Videau.
Very good,
Uh,
very good. So this skin is made by Rain. It's a beautiful Backgammon Galaxy Earth board with the orange Jupiter inlay. If you haven't seen these boards, you can change the surfaces, which is really nice. I have a similar one made by the company that manufactures them, FM Gammon, and they do the same thing. So Rain makes these skins. They're beautiful. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. This is the orange inlay, and you'll be playing the blue checkers at the bottom and XG the white checkers at the top. You're always welcome to consult with me, and then we'll
okay,
go through the thought process, and we'll do a 5-point match. So you get to start with the 4-3.
fantastic. Well, I think I'm gonna do the classic 24, 21, 13, 9, split them
Okay,
down.
very
As
good.
Michi says, a great classic in backgammon.
Yeah, I can talk for a very long time about the opening plays. But anyway, hit. So now we're gonna roll.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
four
And the hit
two.
is great.
Okay.
And there's a couple of options, but I think coming down from 13 to 11 is probably better than, for example, moving up 24, 22. Because that gives more ammunition to attack and make the 5 point with next. So I think hitting on the 21 and coming down 13 to 11, it's got to be correct.
Okay. I may have gone up a little bit just because this leaves a lot of return shots, and since you're when you do this, when you do something like this, let's say you're hit, we have these 2 points slotted, so it's easier to make an advanced anchor. Additionally, when you're ahead 23 pips in the race, you want to get things moving, meaning the back checkers. But we'll see what it looks like in the analysis.
All right, I think the two plays are probably not too far apart.
Right. Okay, 3-1. So this is the triple split. I don't know if you've read Bill Roberti's new books. He calls that the McGreal split, named after Paul McGreal. This provides a lot of coverage for the outfield. So,
all right,
6-3. Okay, so there are options.
Beautiful. Yeah, there are a lot of options, but for example, making the 18 point, I'm not really needing defense at the moment, so I'm not going to do that. So I think the two interesting ones are either just making the 5 point or pointing on head with the 3 point. And it's quite hard to tell which. This one is probably safer, and because we've got 10 in the zone, it's actually not bad for a blitz. There's a good chance he's going to make an anchor very soon, and the 5 point is always solid. Can we have a look and see what making the 5 point looks like? These are direct 6, which I don't love, and with the two back checkers exposed. No, I think I prefer pointing on head on the 3 point.
Right, I agree. I think it's a lot harder for white to make an advanced anchor from this position as compared to from this position. Additionally, there are a lot of return shots, right? Here, there's the direct 6s and the 7s and the 8s. It also strips the 8 point and fails to unstack the heavy 6 point, which affects things. And then you still have this checker on the 11 point, which is a builder for the 5 and the 7 too. So I like this play.
Yeah.
Okay. Double 3 dance. Okay, so now
it's a cube decision.
Cube decision.
All right, so this is 0-0, 5 away, 5 away. I got a stronger board, not an amazing board, but a stronger board, but it's a blitzing board, and I got 10 in the zone, which is quite strong. Big racing lead, quite powerful attack. He's got no development, so I think this has got to be a cube.
And if you were white, would you take?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an early cube. It's going to be like, even if the market losers are generally if I hit and cover another one, or if I make the 5 point or the 4 point and he comes in awkwardly. But I think it's an easy take. It's probably a medium cube and a big take, in my opinion.
I think you double a little bit more aggressively at this score as compared to money, because double gammon will get you the Crawford game. Okay, so we'll double and take. Okay, so now 3-2.
Oh, 3-2 is less fun. I'd like to attack, but the only attacking play is hitting on the ace, and I don't want to do that. So I think the strongest play is just making the anchor and making the 11 point.
Yeah, consolidate the position. I think we have a lot of assets. The better board, the advanced anchor, more checkers in the zone, big lead in the race, poised to make these points. And then this anchor kind of blunts all of the checkers here, because white wants to use these checkers to make the 5 or the 4 point. Okay, double 2. Okay, just like that. Couldn't make
double 2 is a good roll. Double 2 is one of the better rolls. So he's made the same advanced anchor, which kind of makes my 3 point look a bit stupid. I'm getting you saw some indirects with the 7s, but okay, I think it's probably equalized the position more or less. I got a racing lead, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, 3 checkers back versus 2 checkers back is big too. How would you play a 6-1 here?
6-1, I'd probably hit, because it gives me a tempo to get out and around.
Yeah. The alternative would be to make the 5 point. Okay.
Yeah. Or you could there is an argument for making the 7 point with his blot on the 24 and your 11 point, which kind of replaces the bar point, but you don't need to leave a shot.
Right,
it wouldn't make any sense.
This will be an interesting one to look at. Okay, double 5. Right. That's a good roll.
Double 5. Well, we're ahead in the race, so I think we should race. So I think the first thing to look at is probably just 21-16 twice. And then that's got to be correct. And then it is possible to do 6-1 twice and blitz. but I don't like this play. The blitz is always going to be kind of thwarted by the advanced anchor, and I don't really mind the blot on the ace being there. So I think certainly going 2116 twice. I can't really build any useful points. So I think just continuing down to the 11 twice as well is got to be fine.
Yeah, good, good. Now we're thinking about just racing and trying to possibly knock this guy off.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. 6-4. Okay, slotting the points. Now we might be able to hit loose with these blots here.
I could do it, but the aim of the game is still the race.
Right.
Like just with the advanced anchor, any blitzing plays is not going to be
Yeah.
that effective. But 3-1 seems quite reasonable. Make it 5 point.
Right. Okay. Like if you had like a 6-5 here or something.
6-5, I'd probably hit on the ace rather than just go down to the 2
Right.
point.
Right. Okay. So 3-1. Okay, starting to make the board. All right.
All right. So this
2-1.
is a mute. This is a holding game with what does Michi call it? The dragon with the tail.
Dragon with the tail. Is that Michi or Mark Olson? I don't know. It's
That sounds very much like a Michi thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Mark Olson calls it the goalkeeper, which I also quite like.
Goalkeeper, yeah. He's a soccer person.
But yeah, so the aim of the game here, we've got a huge racing lead. Just want to bring everyone home safely. Maybe attack the loose blot eventually, but the essential thing here is just not getting hit. So I think 11-8 is the one.
Yep, and it creates a builder here for the bar point. Nice. Okay, 5-3, just building the board.
5-3. Oh, okay. This is interesting. I'm not sure this is a pay now situation I like very much because it leaves a direct 6. So I don't think breaking the midpoint yet. What else can we do? We can go 11-6-8-5 is an option. That leaves everything very stripped, but it does put builders where we want them to be. Or there is 11-3, which is a bit ugly. It leaves a spare outside, but it's still going to make 6s quite bad. Honestly, pay now could work, but there's just too many shots in my opinion. I think I go 11-6-8-5 here, even though it leaves the points in the outfield stripped. It gives builders where I want them to attack if necessary, and it doesn't leave a shot.
It does. Yeah, I agree with that. When you talk about the pay now versus pay later, I remember from the Tardieu book that you translate, there was a whole chapter about that, right? There's oftentimes you have to think about the possibility of pay never, because sometimes if you roll good, you may not have to pay. So I think this may be one of those cases, despite the fact that these are stripped, you can easily break the 11 point without leaving a direct shot. Sometimes people call this a Cinderella point, which is 7 away from the anchor, because now 5s and 6s can be played comfortably. If we had the 10 point instead, that's going to be a lot more uncomfortable.
For sure.
It's very difficult to break the 0.6 away from the anchor, especially when there are gaps. So I think this is very reasonable.
Okay.
Okay, double 3. Okay,
all right.
So this is something that's interesting because a lot of people would not have played it this way. They say, okay, you're down in the race. White is down by 24 pips in the race, so they just want to maximize contact. However, there is a lot of contact still here. So it's not just maximizing all the contact. You have to know what kind of contact to have. And now this is really good because it blocks all these stripped points really nicely.
Yeah. But actually, I think even without the blot on the ace point, that would probably be the correct move because maximum pressure goes onto the midpoint on the 11 point.
Right.
I can play inside whenever, but it's okay. All right. This is a fun one. There's no safe play. So what can be done? There's a hit on the ace, but every one after that is is quite ugly. It'd just be 6-5. So that is an option. I quite like that because there's 25% of the time he just won't come in. Considering the alternative, potentially 11-6, 11-10 is an option. It puts a builder for the 4 point. If you get hit, there are some returns. Yeah, there's no value in breaking the midpoint. And I know breaking the 8 point would probably leave fewer shots. I think it's going to be easier to break that later. So I think I want to try and clear the 11 point now. So I think 11-6 and minimize shots with oh, hang on, that adds 6-3. No, because it would have had 6-4 as well. Yeah, I think that's my play.
Okay. I think some of the things I like to think about when I'm playing this is like, let's say I'm in this position, right? So what am I going to want to do next? And what is white going to want to do next? Clearly for us, we're going to want to break the midpoint, right? White's going to want to kind of stay back. And this is really important for white. If we hit with the 5, and then maybe play like this, there are a couple of things that may happen. Number one, as you mentioned, 25% of the time, white will dance. And that will give us some pretty decent gammon chances, which at this score, a double gammon gets us to the Crawford game, which is pretty valuable. The other option is white can come in higher, which is better for us. And the third option is white can hit. Well, no matter what, we're going to leave a blot. This minimizes the shots. This is only 11 numbers, whereas something like this is 13 numbers, right?
A bit more because oh no, because 3 out of the 3 is
yeah, you don't get the 5-4.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It would be nice to make this 4 point soon.
But less, yeah, I think I do like the idea of hitting on the ace. Just the thing that bothers me as well is that there's not many numbers are going to cover next turn.
Right. I understand. You also have the double 5s that will cover, as well as 4s, 3-1, double 2, 5-2, and 6-1.
I think. Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me.
Because if you do this, so then what? The other option is to do like this to kind of maintain flexibility. Like if you were to roll a double 4 next after this, that would be really good. And then you leave a 4, 3-1, double 2, but not double 1, and no extra numbers.
No. No, I'm coming around to the hitting play.
Okay, and then the
it's
1.
If you're going to be leaving a shot anyway, normally it's better to put a checker on the bar.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll try this.
All right, let's try that.
Okay. 2-6. Okay, so that turned out good because he came in awkward. All right. So now we have 4s to hit, 6s to hit. I mean, yeah, and then 4s to cover, 3s to hit, 6s to hit, 1s to hit. So a lot of good numbers. 4-3.
4-3. Interesting. I think I want to hit and cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything better than this here.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
If he misses, we can cover with 6s or hit another checker with 1s.
Yeah, we've almost equalized the board there. It's
2.
Oh, beautiful. Oh no, I thought that was 6-2 for us. All right.
Now 5-2. Okay, so here's the 2.
All right, that's the 2, and then we have a 5 to play. Well, the worst one would be breaking the 8 because that leaves a double shot.
I disagree. I think the worst would be breaking the 6.
Well, I didn't consider that.
But yeah, of the reasonable options, right? That leaves a double shot.
Yeah.
So
now and I think I don't like breaking the 13 because I quite like giving white some bad 6s.
Right.
So I think breaking the 11, it puts the builder where I want it, which is on the 6. And any 6 are going to be forced off the anchor quite awkwardly, or going to be playing and breaking the prime. So I quite like that, unless you get 2-6 or yeah, unless you get 2-6, which can run from the back.
Right, and that would leave shots, and it
Yeah,
also
and we're duplicating fours.
fours on this side, on this side. Very good. Okay, so now we have to worry about this.
Oh, interesting. Um, I don't love it. I don't love this position, I have to say. Um, a lot of the time when you get hit in the outfield, you're gonna get gammoned. And this
But if you're
is
gammon on a 4-cube, it's not a big deal. It's a little,
exactly that's what I'm thinking. So it's actually reducing the gammons. But take point is probably not going to change that much. Probably going to still be around 25%, maybe a bit lower. Gonna have a think through. Ones are not great. Twos are generally not great, except possibly moving up there. It's only threes and fours that are really kind of catastrophic. You'll probably hit loose with a 5. In my opinion, this seems like a take. It seems like he's still got a fair amount of work to do. And if he hits loose, on the juice point, there's still a chance of hitting back with a decent board. So in my opinion, this feels like a take, even though the 5 prime is quite scary. What do you
right.
think?
If white rolls any sort of 6, that's at least 11 numbers that are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll take.
Yeah.
All right. 3-1, we're hit. Oh, we
All
have
right.
some return shots. All right.
2-1. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, there's some really interesting ones here. The one that first stood out, but which I think is wrong, is coming on the 24 and hitting on the 11. Just because, not really because leaving a ton of returns anyway, but it's just I'm putting a block on the 24 where I can't get out. So I think I have to come in on the 23 because it anchors and it sees daylight. And then I think I have to hit, so 8-7. Because like gammons are not particularly worrying anymore. We've got a blitz board, so I want to blitz. He's got some blots out, and if I can keep him dancing for long enough, I can maybe have enough time to roll a couple of 6s and get out.
The other option would be to come in here. I think that's important to come in on the 23 because then you can escape with 6s. Then if you want to play a 1, you can also play this play, the safe play, which forces white to consolidate, but white might have options to consolidate. When I'm looking at these two plays, I try to look at like what I call swing rolls. So let's say you play like this and you hit. Okay, so what are the good rolls and what are the bad rolls for white? It's very easy to count a lot of the bad rolls because all of the dancing rolls are bad, right? So 6-5, 6-3, 6-1, 5-3, 5-1, 3-1, and double 6, double 5, double 3, and double 1. So then we look at this. How do those rolls play? Like 6-5 can anchor and come down. That's pretty good, but it's terrible the other way. What about like 6-3?
6-3, be running out and around.
Yeah, something, but at least it's not on the bar, right? 6-1 is not so great, but it'll safety 1 checker. What about 5-3? 5-3 is pretty good. Comes out here, and 5-1 again. So it does create a lot of bad numbers, but then in terms of return shots, so what are the return shots?
What do we have? 2-5, 2-6, 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6.
Yeah, 11.
Well, that's less than 1 in 3.
Yeah.
So I think, and generally when if I see my board and if I have a blitz type board, then I'm kind of more motivated to go and hit. If I'm priming, I'd rather play solidly. But here, like if I don't go for the kill now, then I'm just gonna suffocate behind that prime.
It's like a jungle, kill or be killed.
For sure.
Right. Another drawback of this is you're rather duplicating your subsequent 6s that could be used to escape, that could be used to hit, or that can be used to cover.
This is true, but I'm not that interested in covering the 7, for example. What I'm quite interested in is using the smaller ones like the 2s and 3s and 4s to make the 4 point.
Right. at the same time, the 2s to make the 4-point are duplicated to hit. So there's a
Mhm.
lot going on.
Oh yeah, but I think when it goes well, it can go very well. When it goes badly, it can go very badly.
This is
So
called a high volatility position. Okay, so we'll see what happens. 4-3. Okay, now we're in trouble.
yeah, now in a lot of trouble.
Okay,
But
well,
he's
this
not
won't
out
make it
yet.
stuck. No.
All right.
Okay, okay, now we're okay.
Well, double two is interesting. All right.
Try to save the
I'm
gammon.
slotting the 4.
Slot the 4.
Yeah, for sure. I want to
Okay.
make that point.
Okay. If we get an indirect shot next, then we'll have a blot here.
It's true, but there's a very good chance that he's gonna clean up
Yeah,
or whatever. And then just in terms of the bear off, saving gammons, like having a checker on the 4-point can be vital later.
it could. If you do something like this will give 2 crossovers, which is nice, but you don't want them stacked up. The other advantage of this is you gain 2 outfield pips, which helps save a little bit more gammons, but
Hmm.
this might pay off. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's my play. Yeah,
Okay, now
3-1. All right. I come down 13-10, and I think just hang on, because my small numbers don't work very well. So go back. So maybe 11-8. Maybe just 11-7 is not bad because then I've got good threes, and I got flexibility with the checker behind. The gammons are like they are a thing, so maybe getting a crossover with 11-8, 13-12 is worthwhile. Normally I'd like to put a checker at 6 points away from the point I want to cover. But this would essentially mean just stacking 2 on the 10 point, and I don't want to do that.
there is also an advanced play. It's called a shifting play. You bring this and then you shift 5 to 4, and now you have 6s and 5s to cover while you waste only a single pip, and you get the crossover.
Yeah, I did think I thought of that, but one of the things is in this kind of position, it's not that urgent to cover it because almost certainly not going to get a shot in the next 1 or 2 rolls. So I think either is fine, but
Which is your preference?
let's go for the fancy play,
Which one's fancy?
the switch.
Oh, the switch.
Let's do fancy. Come
To
on,
me,
for the
it's not
viewers.
fancy, but that's fine. Yeah. Okay. 4-1. Okay.
Now we're gonna try and run out. That's great.
Okay, so
The
1
5
out
comes from there,
and just
and
continue.
just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot about saving gammons rather than
Right,
trying to
right.
win.
So four.
Yeah, coming out for sure, and I quite like getting good 2s by just going 15-14 here.
Okay.
At least a 2 will get a crossover. It doesn't do
All
anything
right. So
otherwise.
now he might roll awkward, so we're gonna want to cover, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
A
So
double
that's
5 is nice. So
1.
10-5. Um, I think 18-8 is a nice one, and then 11-6.
Right,
That's
right.
it. That
So,
seems, yeah.
well, here's the thing. What are we going to want to do? Of course, we're going to make this point, and
Hmm.
then we're going to want to try to maximize crossovers to save gammons. At the same time, we want to have a good position to possibly contain a hit checker. So if we do this, that's good. And then we do this. But then if we go here, this will give us more numbers to make these, and it doesn't leave the possible 6-2, whereas um, this does.
Okay. This makes sense.
Okay, so like that. Okay,
Okay, let's do it.
we'll see. Okay, so here's the shot.
Have a shot.
5-3. No.
Not great. I think just going. I think we can still keep the anchor for now, and just
Yeah.
go and get the maximize efficiency by putting another builder
Okay.
on the 6. Yeah. All right, gonna be running off from the 23 with the 6 and keep going.
Keep going.
Oh, that's not bad actually because we can get some nice crossovers here. 16-10 and 8-6.
Okay.
There are quite a few that leave a shot here. So
Yep.
let's have a look and see if we can get one. We
That's
do.
fine. So the nice thing that sometimes people don't think about here is you can hit with a 1, right? That's the smallest number, which is the worst racing number. If you're not going to hit, it's going to be larger than a 1, which means it'll be better for the race to possibly save a gammon.
Mm-hmm. All right, 3-2. Just we missed, so to the
We have to
18.
go. Yeah. Okay. So
All
now,
right. It's 10-6. I think is the most efficient play.
now,
Hang on. What do we
oh
need?
yeah, yeah, double fours or higher.
Yeah, that looks like that's about all we can hope for. Yeah.
Right.
All right, we don't have it. So it looks like we've
No,
lost this.
it shouldn't happen.
All
Okay.
right,
Now we'll analyze it.
sure.
So this was a 5-point match, but it was just a single game. But there were a lot of interesting plays here. So we'll take a look. The 4-3. Let's see. I guess it doesn't really matter. Those are and the 4-2.
4-2 is correct.
Yeah, you were right. Let's see.
Although on a deeper play, it
Let's
might
see.
be different, but
They were
yeah.
close. They were close. Yeah, it
Mm.
does bring this in, and it wins more gammons. So
Yeah. Well, I find XG frequently prefers a more aggressive play.
yeah, and this one keeps more control and coverage of White's board.
Mm.
So good. Now this 6-3 was the one we were talking about, right? So
Oh, there's a huge difference between them making the 3 and making the 8.
and making the 5, you mean, or the 18?
Oh, sorry, making the 3 and making the 5. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because this is what I was saying. So like, let's say you make the 5.
Mm.
Okay, so now you're like this. You still have this awkward stack. Now White can hit with 6s, 7s,
Mm-hmm.
like 5-2, and then 5-3, 4-2, 5-1, and then like 4-2 can hit here, and there's a lot. So here, you unstack this, you create 4 dancing numbers, which are otherwise good. So
Mm-hmm.
look at like how 6-3, double 6, and double 3 play. How does double 6 play here? That's really good. 6-3,
Oh, yeah.
so double 3 is also very good. So you made it when you convert really good rolls to really bad rolls, that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And how many hitting numbers here? Well, there's 6-5, and then there's the loose hits.
Yeah. But it does often feel very natural to just immediately look at the a play that can make the 5 point. But like, all the time, if you can put someone on the bar, if you can point on your opponent's head, then it's rare that that's an error.
That's a very good point. I learned this, or it was reinforced when I read Bill Roberti's recent 3-volume series about how to play the opening in backgammon. So, you know, some people say it's always right to make the 5-point or the 20-point or this and that. I don't like to use words like always or never because
Mhm.
what he says is everything matters. You have to look at the pros and cons, look at the resulting position, look at your assets and your liabilities like we did. Now there are 4 dancing numbers. Here there are 0 dancing numbers. That's good. Although you have the 5-point, you're leaving a direct shot and you don't unstack that. So you want to look at all of the things, everything on the board. So very good. Okay, then he danced, then we had a double.
Yeah, big double, big take. It was a bigger double than I expected. I expected it to be around 50 or 60, just because there's so little development. But there's enough people in the zone for it to be a fairly serious threat. You can see almost 30% gammons. So
Right.
it's you're gonna be a little
So
bit worried taking it.
yeah. I mean, if you're white, you lose gammons, and like let's look at this on the other board. Like let's look at it for money. It's a little bit different. It's still a 44. Let's see. It's not quite as strong for money as it is here
Hmm.
because in a 5-point match, it'll get you to the Crawford game.
Yeah.
But let's say we're playing like a 7-point match. We can look at it at other scores. And I find this is a very valuable lesson. It's similar. But let's say we're at a 5-point match. And if we are leading 1-0, so 4 away, 5 away, what do you think the cube action would be here?
a bigger double and borderline pass, or if not, just pass.
Yeah, yeah. I learned this kind of stuff by reading Nick Blasier's book. Look how strong it becomes. The
Yeah.
pass, it's not even like that close a pass either. Uh,
hmm
it's just because when you're at 4 away, 5 away, a double gammon wins you the match with perfect efficiency, but that doesn't do so much for a person when they're 5 away. Now let's say you're 4 away, 4 away. I think it's going to be the same. It'll probably
Yeah.
be, it might be a take, but I think it's going to be strong. Now it's a bigger pass, actually.
But I think if you go to 3 away, 4 away, it the double
Yeah.
becomes much weaker because gammons are worth less.
Right, right. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
now it's a
If there's a
blunder
big
to
no
double.
double.
Yeah. And if you're at like 3 away, 5 away, for example, it's a bigger no double.
hmm Yeah, I've learned well in recent months just how careful you have to be with the cube when you're 3 away in a leading score.
Right. Now at 3 away, 3 away, I think it's going to be a pass.
Yeah, that's essentially
Almost
actually
a pass. It's a
interesting.
very strong double. What
Mm,
happens at 3 away, 3 away is you double more aggressively and you take more conservatively because if you double and win, you get to the Crawford game, which is a valuable score. So that's 75% match equity. If you win a double gammon, you win the match with 1 point of overage. Um, so that's what you have to be careful of. So if you're like, let's say we're 4 away and the opponent is 3 away.
oh
Now
yeah,
it's
double
big
big
draw.
double and pass, huge pass.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what about
Massive
it?
pass.
Right, right. What about 4 away, 2 away?
Oh, it's too good now.
Too good?
Yeah,
Yeah, look at that. Barely too good. Very good. Uh,
I'd still send it. Because a 0.013 too good is
yeah, it's not a big deal.
fine. And there's always, especially if you're against someone who's not that experienced, they might take it.
Now, if you're at the 2 away score yourself and your opponent is at a different score, so let's say 2 away, 5 away, now you're not going to double, right?
No, not at all. It's way too early to be giving away an
It's a
automatic
big
requeue.
blunder. And if you
Yeah,
double a 2 away, 4 away, it's, I think, a bigger blunder because now you're getting redouble for the match.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
big
It's enormous.
point. If you double at 2 away, 3 away, still not right. Yeah. And if you double at 2 away, 2 away, this might be a pass.
What I'd be interested to see actually is
No, not a pass.
post Crawford 1-4. Oh no, sorry, post Crawford 2-4. Would you still take the free take here?
Oh, 3 away, 1 away, Crawford.
Yeah, post Crawford.
Post Crawford. Yeah, post Crawford. Yeah. So there is I call it the Trice trick because it was first described by Walter Trice. Post Crawford odd away games, you have a really deep take point. And if you induce someone to pass, you see it's barely a take.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
huge double, but it's a tricky one because there you're at a score where you know you have a free take, but it's a gammonish position.
right. Now let's say you're at 2 away, 1 away post Crawford.
Enormous pass. Too yeah, too
Yeah,
good.
too good. What about 4 away? Same, it's too good. It's
Yeah,
just gammonish. When you have lopsided gammons, this is a one-way gammonish position. One side's going to win way more gammons than the other side. A lot of factors come into play.
for sure. Well,
One
an interesting position. One that changes wildly due to the score.
Right. And that's something I learned from Nick Blasier's book. I remember specifically you can double much more aggressively in one-way gammonish positions at 4 away, 3 away than you can at 3 away, 2 away. The reason is because if you're winning a lot of gammons at 4 away and you win a doubled gammon, you win the match perfectly. But if
Yeah.
you're at 3 away and the opponent's at 2 away, you get 1 point of overage, which is wasted. So a lot of people don't think about that. Okay, so that was good. So let's continue. Then we had the 3-2. Looks like all of these plays were relatively close, but
Yeah.
yeah, we could have
You're
gone
doing
11.
pretty well, whatever. You just yeah, I think making the 2 points just seemed extremely clear.
Right, right. Okay. Okay, look at this. Look at these plays were close.
Okay, wow. The blitzing play came out on top. All
Okay, it was
right.
tied. It was tied.
I
When
suppose
02
the
02 was
3 point made. Um, there is like you're not caring about priming at all, and this just puts on the bar with another blot, so you can keep up the attack. Okay.
this one wins 4.9% more gammons, but it loses 2% more games.
Hmm. Okay,
So
that's
it makes it
interesting.
worth it. What is the gammon value on a 2 cube at 5 away, 5 away? It's elevated. It's elevated.
Hmm.
So are you familiar with these calculations?
Not really. I
So
don't use this window very often.
so when you're playing for money, the gammon value is always 0.5. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, that's how valuable it is to win a gammon. So you need twice as many gammon wins as reduced losses to make a play correct. And that's the relative gammons, the gammon differential, uh, subtracting the gammon losses from the gammon wins. This is
Hmm.
all very technical, all in Dirk Schiemann's book. But this one, it's elevated because of the fact that a double gammon gets you to 1 away Crawford, 1 away, 5 away Crawford. That's a valuable score. So it's more valuable to win a gammon. So you don't need two. You need about a third. It's about 2 to 1 almost. This is almost 2/3. So it makes a difference. So
Mm.
like, let's say we put this in for money. See what happens. Here the running play comes out slightly better
Hmm.
because here the gammon value is 0.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really considering in terms of blitzing and Gammon winning chances here. I was more concerned, like 50 pips up in the race. I don't know,
Right.
30 pips up in the race. You're gonna be well ahead, bring people down. It's generally a good idea.
Right. So you think about single wins and gammon wins and how much it's worth. Because clearly you're going to lose more games by doing this because white has an anchor, there's a lot more game, and you're killing checkers behind it. You'd rather just kind of bring things home.
Hmm.
So good. Okay. And then with the 3-1, that was clear to just make the 5
Yeah,
point.
for sure.
And the 2-1 was just clear to play 11 to 8.
Hmm.
And the 5-3, yeah, we were discussing this play.
Yeah, the pay now play is quite a big error, which
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
it would
that's
be.
yeah,
But
because I
yeah,
think you have a reasonable position, so you may pay never, which I think we eventually did, but
it costs a lot eventually, but
eventually. Okay, but in that case, it wasn't worth it. So for this 5-1, yeah, it looks like the two plays that we were considering, clearing the 11 point
mm,
somehow with either 11 to 5 or 11-6, 11-10 were the top alternatives, but the hitting play was correct.
yeah, hey, good. Well seen from you.
Yeah.
I do generally go for it, but when I'm kind of at the same time reducing the number of dice that will cover the blot, I do hesitate.
Okay, so let's look at this. This is the top play, which looks like this.
Hmm.
And if white comes in with ones, it's of course bad. And then this is the alternative, clearing the 11 point, which looks like this. Now, if white rolls a 3, it's bad. Okay. So this is the dice distribution. On the upper left is after the top play of hitting and playing 6 to 5, and on the upper right is clearing the 11 point. And these are all on the same scale. So the lowest value in all of these is the darkest red, and the highest value is the darkest green. This one is the difference. So the key here is look at how the ones play over here, right? They're bad.
Yeah.
Some of the ones are bad with the alternative, like 2-1 and 3-1. Now, what about the threes over here? The threes are bad here, but they're all pretty good here, of course, except the 3-1. So when you see the difference in the lower left, you see those big swings, especially on those numbers, like we discussed, those fanning numbers. Yeah, I think what was let's look at this for just a second. So like 6-5, 6-3, and 5-3. You look at this, 6-3 and 5-3 are the big swings.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, so that's kind of how you think about it. And then subsequently, we can look at our subsequent rolls. This shows how our rolls play after each. This is a little bit more complicated. I don't think we need to look at this. Okay, so that's a good one. All right, so then white came in with a 6-2, which was
and this is
and
forced.
The 4-3 was correct to.
Yeah, like there's nothing else you can do here. Like there's no safe play.
Right. And again, it puts one on the bar. Now the 6-2 was bad because white came in and hit, and then we ended up rolling a 5-2. So the 2 was forced, and the most reasonable, of course, was the 11-6.
Yeah. Oh, you were wrong. The the worst was 8. The worst was 8-3 rather than
8-3. What? Well, let's do a plus analysis because I don't. Oh wow!
Yeah, 8-3 is the money.
Okay. At least I'm wrong about the wrong play. Okay, so this was the redouble. This was a tough choice.
Yeah, I figured mostly I was looking at white's like good dice, which are essentially 3-4 and some 5s. That leaves a lot of quite bad ones, and like the position is not great, but with 3 checkers back and they're almost completely disconnected, if you get a decent sequence, you could actually turn it around and be winning. Like for example, if they roll something quite unpleasant like a 6-1. They'd be forced to bring 2 checkers in. Anytime you bounce out and you safety that block, you're instantly just in a winning position and could almost re-cube.
Let's look at this. What would it take to make it a pass? What if white were here?
I think this is still a take.
Stronger. But
oh, it's a pass. Okay.
It's so strong because now.
Oh wow, it's almost too good. Okay. Yeah. That's because the 6s all play well now after that.
Yeah, right. So what about moving this so that now the 4s are good here, but 3s and 2s are good here? That's strengthened it, I believe. Now it's a borderline.
Yeah, now it's borderline.
Okay, so this is the position, and this is the dice distribution feature for cube action. So this is only market losing sequences. So this is white's next rolls on the top and then our rolls after that. So anything that's red is not a market losing sequence, but anything that's white to green is a market losing sequence. And the darker the green, the more you lose the market by. So you see there are a lot of market losers here.
Yeah.
And we can
see the biggest one being 4-3, 4-4.
Right, like 4-3 and 4-4 are here.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah. And then this is the equity heat map. So these colors are reversed. There's a lot of red here. And then
what are those ones? The 2-2.
2-2. Yeah.
Okay. 2-2. I haven't actually looked at 2-2, but yeah.
Look at 2-2. It hits here and hits here.
Yeah, but it's there and probably switches.
Switches and then hits on the 14.
Yeah, so that's pretty strong. Pretty strong.
And then this one you can see the joker sequences for white. White has a lot of strong jokers. And then this is the anti-jokers for white. Some, but not quite as much. So it's a high volatility.
Yeah, 6-5 is bad. 6-1 is not as bad as I thought it was.
It's pretty bad.
Interesting.
It's all red here.
It's all red, but 6-1 is quite pale, generally. Though the
6
darkest
white.
one's like 6-5.
Oh,
But yeah,
6-5. But if you look at the
6-5 is a
average here,
rough
you can see
roll.
this. Let me show you. Oh, it doesn't have it here. Let's look at this heat map. Like, look at this. You see the average at the bottom here?
Mm.
6-1 and double 6 are the darkest, and 6-1 is here again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to use that, but it's a little bit more technical for some people. So we
For
did
sure.
correctly take, then we were hit, then we rolled a 2-1, which was okay. So this is the one we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to count on the 23 and you got to hit.
Right. We've got to hit. Yeah. It produced all those bad numbers.
The 4-3 was a joker.
4-3 was a joker for white.
And then we didn't have that many tough decisions. Double 2. Okay, didn't do that correct. It's better to switch to the no.
No, they were tied.
Yeah. All right. Slightly better to go to the 9, but almost the same.
Yeah. And then the 3-1, yeah, the shifting play. They were all close. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So when it's less than 0.01, I don't make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
The 5-3, it didn't matter as long as we come out.
Yeah.
Okay, then there was 5-1.
All right, I didn't like this. Okay,
I wanted to make the point.
I wanted to keep 3 on the 23 point. Okay. That is more important to have a solid board.
The other thing is, like, let's say white rolls a double 5, you can hit and still retain the anchor.
No, this is true.
Yeah. Okay.
I just find it so ugly keeping a third one back when I can mobilize other checkers. So.
And these ones were all tied, so that's fine. No big deal.
5-3.
5-3, trying to stay efficient. Good.
6-1 didn't like. 8.
Oh wow.
Oh, I liked putting 1 on the 2 point. I suppose giving bad 2s after that. Most 2s are bad except 1, 2. And double 2 is not great.
Yeah. Let's see how many gammons it saves. 3%, 2.5% or so, 2.4%.
But you're actually just winning a lot more. You're winning like more than 2% more.
You're winning a lot more, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's because of the opponent's 2s. Because
especially double 2s might end up being awkward.
Yeah, like double 2 when you run, like double 2s are magical. You just...
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then the 6-2 was just running, and there was nothing else we can do from there. But you played like a champion, 1.55.
I think that's pretty much my average, I think.
That's good. That's good. You'll be at the top of the leaderboard.
Admittedly, it was not the longest match, even though it was a 5-point rather than the traditional 3-point.
Right.
But there were some difficult decisions. The cubes were not, like, especially the recube was not easy. But no, I think we did a good job.
Yeah, I think it was good. I have 2 major goals with these videos. Number 1, to have fun, and number 2, to learn. And I think we accomplished both of those.
Oh, for sure. No, it's been great. Well, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, these are good. I really like the Stream Champs ones because some people, talk about their thought process. And this is a similar kind of idea because we can talk about the thought process together and consult, and then looking through them. I feel like we learn a lot, like changing the score like we did. I learned a lot about, how important the score is when you're considering doubling.
Yeah. One thing I quite like is when I'm playing, I don't do it over the board, but if I'm playing a match online, especially like a serious one, and if it's being filmed or streamed, it does seem to help and improve my game if I'm commentating, because you like sometimes in a longer match you can go on autopilot a bit and you play a bit too fast. But if you're actually talking through each move, you can't do that. And generally, if you can explain something, then you understand it, and that's good.
Yes, it slows you down, and then you try to explain it to yourself,
Yeah, and
which
if
is
you can't
good.
explain what you're doing, then you can't understand, and you have to kind of work through it and try and get it to make sense. And it's a really good thing. I think it's something I try to do over the board now, but in my head it just kind of narrates almost what's happening. It doesn't always work. Doesn't always work. I still make some horrific errors. I finished off a BMAV tournament on Sunday with a 700 take blunder.
Those happen. Those happen. I feel like we were a little bit lucky in this match in the sense that there weren't a lot of terribly difficult decisions where
Mm,
it's easy to make a huge blunder. So we didn't have that many choices where we could make big errors. Um, so that's good for the PR.
yeah. Although I think I might have changed some decisions depending on my opponent if I was playing face to face.
Right.
The recube like, in a tournament situation against, for example, a much weaker player, I'd probably be tempted to drop that and just to play a longer match rather than risk getting gammoned on a four cube.
Right.
But it's not something I do too much, just adjusting for the opponent factor. But it is an interesting thing to consider. Do you ever do this when you're playing?
Uh, I would say a lot, depending on if I know my opponent. So, like, I'll play heads up money games against people, and some people take really deep. So,
Hmm.
they have this concept called an efficient double, which is at the take pass borderline. So you basically maximize the amount of equity. But that's if you're playing XG, because XG is always going to make the correct decision. I had there was a position last week where it was too good to double by about 1.05, uh, but the take was 1.8, and I doubled and he took. So it was a huge blunder. You make a small error and you gain a huge amount of equity if you know they're going to do that.
Yeah, and I frequently have it going the other way as well. If I'm playing people in a tournament and especially if I don't know them very well, I'll frequently send a very early, very aggressive cube just to see how they'll react.
Test them out.
And yeah, and if you can see like you know, if you can see that they're taking a long time, or if they pass, then you know that you could probably scrape a few points off them just by bullying them with the cube.
Yes, there was a position I had. Maybe I can show it here. Um, let me share this so I can show it to you. Okay. So I was in this position.
Mm-hmm.
I had an 8 cube, and here it was a redouble pass, right?
Are you when you're on roll? Yeah,
Blue is on roll. Let me switch it. Blue is on roll.
yeah. Oh yeah. This seems like a fairly clear decision.
It's a very big pass. So
Yeah.
it's a 1.5. So I redouble to 16. I redoubled to 16, and then
Mm-hmm.
he took.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so then I was happy. Then I rolled something like this, and he rolled something like this, and then I rolled something like this, and then white was on roll, and he rolled double five.
Yeah, we've all had this. We've all had this. It's terrible.
But I had this discussion, and I was actually happy about that. Not because I lost 32 points. It was a 32-point swing. I should have won 16 when I lost 16. But if you play opponents that do that,
Mm.
if you're gaining 0.5, that's huge. So
Well,
you
really,
win.
you should have won 8 because most people would not take that cube.
Right, right. So I lost 16, so basically a 24-point swing. But after the cube, it was a 32-point swing. But if you know that are people like that, you wait until it's a pass,
Hmm.
and then you double. You wait until it's a big pass, and you double, and they still take. And one of the things I've learned is psychologically, there are some players, it depends on the level of the cube. He would give it up at a 2 cube, but he wouldn't give up a 16 cube because he feels like he has so much invested in it that he doesn't want to lose 8 points. He'll just gamble to possibly win. Whereas in reality, the odds are the same. It shouldn't matter whether it's a 2 cube or a 16 cube. It's a pass, but there are people who have this psychology, and it's like you're not getting the right pot odds, like in poker.
Yeah.
So you can take advantage of that, but there's a lot more volatility because they're big swings in both directions. So you have to be prepared for that.
Hmm. But I think this is true for a lot of things. Like when you throw good money after bad, you're too invested in something to give it up. Whereas like it's much better to just walk away. But I was talking to a friend of mine who's an extremely strong player, plays a lot of money games and has several clients. He was saying that if you get to that kind of position, especially if well that position is similar, maybe not on a 16 cube, on a 4 cube or an 8 cube, you want them to roll a double and win because then they'll be encouraged to keep playing.
Yes, yes. And then yeah, I got his phone number and we're gonna play some more. So that's good.
So you gotta sometimes you gotta look a little bit outside of the board here, but
Right, right.
it's fascinating. I don't play money games myself, so it's a bit of a spectator in this respect. Uh, but I do find the whole mentality and psychology aspect of it fascinating.
Used to be a lot more money games. Now tournaments are the big thing, but in the 70s and 80s, probably before you were born, they were people would go to tournaments hoping to get knocked out so they can play in the money games in the shoe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not the case anymore. Although I think if you go down to Monte Carlo, like you'll always find people there to play however much a
Right.
point you want.
You get some big action. Well, great, wonderful. So this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I was happy to have you on the channel. You have an open invitation to come back. We can do this again
Thank you.
together, or if you want to bring a friend to play doubles or triples, we can certainly arrange that. Those are always really fun because we get interesting conversations. Do you have any final comments before we conclude?
No, I just recommend to everyone if you haven't yet done it, subscribe to Alex's channel. It's a great channel, lots of great content. Subscribe to my channel, Paris Videau. I'm sure Alex will be kind enough to put a link in the description.
I will.
Um, and yeah, if anyone's going to be in the south of France in the middle of June, there's going to be the Beaulieu tournament. I'm going to be there, providing streaming for it, and I'll be playing. It's a great tournament. It's a beautiful town. So if you're there, come and play.
That's great. I was talking with some people, and I feel like streaming is really good. That helps promote the game a lot.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Most tournaments demand streams now. It's great, and it's a great way of like reaching out to people that wouldn't necessarily watch like just a backgammon video, but if you can see like the final of a tournament, they'll be like, yeah, yeah.
Right, right. And I spoke with my friend Bill Riles, who's the king of streams. He does the streams at all different places, Monte Carlo, Dubai. He's running a tournament now as we're recording this, and they have 5 simultaneous live streams.
Oh yeah, this is yeah the Ace Point. Well, they have insane equipment. I think they've invested like over
A
$100,000
lot. He
in
has.
their streaming equipment, and like for me, I've invested maybe €200.
It's a lot though. It's a lot, So, but it's great. It's really, really high quality, and I think people enjoy it. They enjoy watching those videos. They enjoy watching these videos.
Yeah.
I enjoy your videos. I'll put a link to your channel, of course. I'll put a link to all the Stream Champ channels, so people can go there too. And we'll go ahead and conclude. Thank you again so much. James, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Again, my book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.